Welcome back to Married at First Sight, Season 20 review and recap with your girl Shannel. Now, we're going to jump into episode 13. This is a part two because episode 13 is quite long. Okay, so I have to break it up in parts. I don't want my videos to be too much more than 30 minutes. So make sure you catch up on part one. And so we're going to jump straight into part two. Now, in part two, we're going to start off talking about Devin and Caitlin. Now, they open up and they're sitting in a restaurant and they're toasting. I guess they're toasting to a good life. They finally getting along. Everything is starting to come together in this relationship. And so Devin starts off, he says, what is a topic or a subject that you can talk about for hours? And then Caitlin come in. I'm thinking she about to be deep, baby. Caitlin says, well, Harry Potter, Taylor Swift, World War II. It's like, what? Now, Devin was shocked by her answers and quite confused. He was like, girl, you're a whole grown woman, baby. You're a whole grown woman. And this is what you can talk about for hours? And so she was just so giddy, so excited. She was like, yeah. Now, Harry Potter and Taylor Swift and then World War II, it's like, oh my God. That just shows where her mental is, okay? So she's still like kind of childish, you know. She lived in a fantasy world. Baby, she a Swiftie over there. And then with World War II, which means there's a battle that's going on in her head, baby. Okay, and she's worried about doomsday. Maybe want to prep for it. Okay, maybe want to know how about love and war. I don't know, baby, but that was a very confusing type of answer to give. And then so Caitlin was like, she asked him the same question, and then here he comes talking about rugby. I'm like, baby, you ain't no better than her. Okay. Now I get it. He want to talk about rugby because that's what he does for a living. He's a professional rugby player. So I get it. But you guys got to be a little deeper than this. Okay. We got 3 weeks before it's time to make a decision on your relationship. And so y'all got to get a little deeper than Harry Potter, Taylor Swift, and rugby. And then he says, the comments that after the group dinner, he was feeling like the comments after the group dinner, they have different perspectives about where they stand. And I agree. You guys have very much different perspectives, okay? Because they was talking about the group dinner and how, where does each relationship stand and how they compare to the two. And they were just saying that, there's different perspectives and I don't feel like they building a solid foundation. Now they are taking things slow. They do. Devin is getting to the point that he's understanding Caitlin. Caitlin is starting to open up a little bit more to him, and I feel like they both want this relationship. I think they both want to build on it, so they really are trying. So Devin apologized for the way he came across at the dinner, at the group session, because Caitlin felt a certain type of way. She felt like, he got in front of everybody and started, spilling out things about their relationship that she didn't even know that they was having issues with. And so he apologized. One thing about Devin, he don't mind apologizing. He's not too big for the program when it comes to that. But Caitlin said things on average was positive. That's what she thought. She thought that everything was positive and things were good. Which, okay. She states that she is shocked about what he said in front of everyone and feels that he is not getting everything he needs from her. And subconsciously, that caused them to spiral to elicit emotions from her. And she said that, you're trying to get emotions from me that I'm not willing to give or that I don't have to give. And then she's like, once you get those emotions from me, you are relieved. It's almost like you get some type of satisfaction. And I feel something. She said, I feel something then. You feel so much better from the conversation. As for me, I feel I carry something more heavier. So, with all that she said, she pretty much saying that he's trying to get some type of emotions from her any way possible. Even though she thought that everything was positive with their relationship, just for them to go to the group dinner and hear that he um is not receiving enough. Okay, and she pretty much saying, I'm giving you what I got to give. Okay, you getting what I got. Okay, but you want more, and I don't have more to give you. And then when you try to get some type of emotions out of me, aka you make me angry, and then now you're happy, now you're fulfilled. And she's like, she ain't down with that. She don't feel like that's something that's healthy, and it's not. It's really not, if that's how she truly feels. Devin was like, I do not thrive in arguing. Well, Devin, I don't don't know now because again, you probably don't realize it, but the last couple of times, and you've been drinking that beer, those Coronas or whatever you was all that sipping on, you do kind of have your chest kind of puffed out a little bit, and you're trying to express yourself. And what the people are saying, and AKA the matchmakers are saying when it comes to Devin, is that he's not showing his true self. And I don't know what they want to see. It's almost like they want him to come out and be this macho, puffy chest type of person. And I don't feel like that's healthy. But that may not be what they want to see. They probably want to see his goofy side because Devin was the type that he want to dance, he want to have a good time. He is that type of person, but you don't see that when he's with Caitlyn because Caitlyn kind of boring, baby. Is he supposed to get up and dance to Taylor Swift? I don't know, but they want him to show his true self and not to hide who he really is. And so if he kind of like want to be like this masculine macho man, he do need to show that to Caitlyn, so she can decide if that's something that she want to deal with. But he said he does not thrive in arguing. He said, matter of fact, I actually hate it, but sometimes those heavy conversations are very necessary. And so he may look at a heavy conversation as one that's being uh, to me, it can come across as argumentative, and to Caitlyn, it comes across as that. But he's saying, babe, we need to get past this Harry Potter and this Taylor Swift type of stage. Maybe we need to ease over that to that World War II, you know, type of stage, because these conversations need to be had. And he says very necessary. Caitlyn said, I don't think that was necessary at all. Well, Caitlyn, it is necessary that you do have deep conversations, but I get it. They are pretty much communicating not well. Okay, Caitlyn saying she don't want the drama. He said he don't want the arguments, but a deep conversation to Caitlyn is an argument. Let her tell it. She don't want to have a deep conversation. She don't want to have them in the way that you forcing it out of her. She's saying that be lighthearted. I guess be more lighthearted to her, and she'll come across, or she'll communicate better. But I don't feel like they're communicating well with each other, and they're not understanding each other. Devin was like, well, this is a redirect. Next time I will send a text message because I don't know what to do. He claims that he don't see her much and wants to end their nights together. He also claimed that he enjoyed the other night when they had 1 hour and 1 hour and 30 minutes laying on the couch. So Devin is pretty much showing the cracks. He's saying that we can't get to know each other because Caitlyn is always on the go. She always claiming she's so busy. So he said he don't see her. And he said that the hour and 30 minutes that they had together was very enjoyable, and he hoped that they can continue to do that. And Caitlin was like, well, do you think it's okay if we go to bed early around 8:30 because I got to get up? It's like, Caitlin, could you please be quiet and listen to this man? This man is saying that he want to spend the night together with you. He want to end the night with you. He want to see you more. And you already talking about going to bed early. And what she's saying is, baby, I'm busy. I'm booked and I'm busy. I got things to do. My life don't stop because we over here married a stranger, baby. I still got to pay the bills. And so he said, I prefer that if we cuddle a bit, I mean, I guess if we got to cuddle around 7:38, let's do it. He said, do you like to cuddle? She said, I like to sit across from you and put my legs on you. That to me, I didn't like that. He want to cuddle. He wants to be close to her. He wants to be intimate. And she talked about, no, I'd rather just sit across from you, and then I give you my feet. You can take my leg, okay, and do whatever you need to with the leg. That's fine. But as far as us cuddling and being up on each other, baby, I've been on exercise bikes all day. I've been over here ripping and running. I've been over here all in people face doing their makeup. She's like, yeah, that's the last thing I want to do is be cuddled up. So she's not a cuddling type of person. But the thing about it is, he said, okay, he said, I love that. He compromised, and he like, okay, you don't want to be cuddled up and hugged up. He said, I do like the fact that he said, you could put your legs on me any day. That's perfect. And I like that when Devin said that. I didn't like when Caitlyn said that, but Devin understood it. He was like, okay, you've been on your feet all day. He probably gonna massage your leg, massage your feet. He said he okay with that. He said that's perfect. He said I don't need you all over me unless we in bed. And pretty much he's saying, yeah, if you're not gonna be cuddling with me and then giving in a little something, something, baby, giving some of them goods. Then he said, well, I guess I don't need it because that'll be teasing. And then they both kind of giggled with glee. They both thought it was cute. And then so they went on and moved on to the next situation, girl. That was cute that they could laugh that off and get past the so-called deep conversation. I feel like they got somewhere. They understand what each other need. They need to understand each other's love language, okay? And Caitlyn is not all about physical touch. And he said, well, yeah, if you ain't gonna physically touch me and touch me all the way, baby, go all the way, then I guess we don't need physical touch. But he just said he just want to be close to you. He just want to be around you. I just want to see you. So I think they got something accomplished with that conversation at the end of the day. And then next we have Mecca and Bella Jolie. Now they're sitting at home, they're sipping hot chocolate, they're being warm and cozy, they kind of laughing with each other. And then so I'm sorry, Mecca starts off and he says, he takes a sip of the chocolate and he's shocked that it's hot. And it's like, why? Why? Then he gonna say, why didn't you warn me? It was hot. She was like, hot? She's like, wait a minute now. You know you sipping hot chocolate, right? She said, you literally can see the steam coming from the cup. See, what make you think that it wasn't hot? Like use your brain. You're not no baby. You're not a kid. You're not discovering what hot is. Again, Mecca need Bella to be mama. And I think he was just being silly. Like, why you didn't tell me it was hot? It's like what hot chocolate gonna always be hot, Mecca. Okay. I don't understand that, but again, it was a lighthearted moment. And then Mecca says, he said, I don't know. He said, I thought I could, handle it. I thought that, it was a little steam and it's just some hot chocolate. He said, I thought I could handle it. Well, no, you couldn't, honey. Clearly, you try to gup it. You can't gup it. You're supposed to blow it and sip. It's a slow type of burn. Like you're supposed to, that's how you drink hot chocolate. You can't gup it, baby. And then so Belle was like, well, you made me think of a childhood memory. And then so she was like, I remember, growing up, we used to always get cups and set it outside and let it fill up with snow when it's snowing. Collect the snow and then add milk and then eat it. And then he was like, milk and snow, huh? He said, well, I won't be incorporating that tradition into my family. It's like, what tradition do you have, Mecca, that you're gonna be incorporating, baby, other than trauma, loss, abandonment? And not trying to be funny, but how dare you? If she said that that was a warm moment in her, which a lot of us had when we have grandmothers. I know that that was a moment with me and my grandmother. She used to do it all the time. She used to go and not just a cup. My grandma would get a whole bowl and sit it outside, and that's when the snow was organic, I guess, baby. It was real. And so she'll get a bowl and put it up in a safe like place and let it collect snow, and then she'll bring it in and make snow cones, or what we call it was milkshake. So it tastes like milkshake when my grandma used to do it. And it was a fun moment. And I noticed that when I tried to do that with my children, that yeah, the ice was not good. Okay. And maybe it was because it was good because we was kids, or maybe my grandma put her little secret sauce to it, or maybe now in 2020 the ice is not real, it's fake, it's not organic. So either way, I get what both of them are saying. So it was a sweet moment, that Belle brought up, and Mecca kind of like shot it down. And Mecca wasn't too wrong, because I don't think we can eat the ice no more. I don't think with them having all type of sprays that they spraying in the air, on the ground, in different places, trying to poison the American people. I don't think that we can trust the ice anymore. So I get what he's trying to say. And then Belle was like, why not? It's good. At least it was as a kid. And Belle was right. It was good as a kid, but a kid's taste is different from an adult's taste. And then at this point, Mecca zones out like he normally does, when Jolie over there talking and making her points and asking questions, he'll zone out sometime. And you can see it in his face, in his eyes, in his demeanor. And then Bella came back and she was like, what are some of your childhood memories? And then here come Mecca. I just feel like he's always in his head. His memories, I don't know if he have good memories. He just don't never talk about good memories. And so he always leaves out with trauma. And maybe that's his history. Maybe that's his childhood, because he says, well, I used to be jealous of my brothers and sisters. It's like, oh Lord, here we go. Here, let the trauma bond begin. He said he used to be jealous of his brothers and sisters growing up. He said, in a way, they are living with their mother. He said that, because of course his mom abandoned him. And he said that he was jealous of anybody that really had their mother, because that's something that he always wanted. He said, who was my stepmother, but she left, of course. She left me, but she raised them because those are her biological kids. He, he said they had smartphones. They was able to hang out with their friends. He said that if he told his dad, he would say, I knew you was jealous. I knew, and I didn't care. Nope, I didn't care. And so that's even sadder that the son knew. I mean, the dad knew that his son was lacking and felt a certain type of way about certain things, and the dad could care less. And so, what the dad probably is saying, baby, I can't afford them smartphones, and I ain't about to pay for them for no kid. Or the dad could probably be saying, you don't need those type of devices, okay? You need to keep your head in the books. I don't know. Or maybe the dad was just a mean old man, okay? Because you can just tell by his way now. He could care. He didn't care what Mecca needed or wanted, okay? That was not important to him. And he probably was angry because he had to raise the boy by himself anyway. So he was resentful and stuff like that. So, and he said that I was going to raise you how I wanted to raise you. I don't care what you saw with everybody else. I don't care what everybody else had. You're not going to have it. Okay. And said that he couldn't be trusted. Mecca said that, maybe it was a good thing I didn't have those type of things because I couldn't be trusted with those type of opportunities like social media or smartphones until high school. He said he didn't get his first smartphone until high school, his senior year. And then Belle was like, you don't feel you deserve that? Why? And then Mecca was like, because I was acting up. She's like, so um, you don't think that they ever act up or they acted up ever? And then he was like, well, not in the way that I was acting up. And then she was like, yeah. And then he was like, I would pee on myself during whoopings, or if I knew that I was in trouble or a whooping was coming, he said, I would pee on myself. And that was so sad. And then she was like, oh. And so what I took from that is that he was acting out because he didn't know how to channel his emotions of abandonment, not having his mother, being uh, then being abandoned by his stepmother, and then being neglected by his father. So of course, that's recipe for someone to act out because again, he got to the point where he probably couldn't cry no more, and then his cries or his tears would turn to anger, and then now he's acting up everywhere. He's probably fighting a lot. He's probably stealing. Who knows what he was doing? He didn't say what he was doing to act out, but I know that kids act out in different type of ways. And one way that he was showing it, because of course he couldn't so-called act out when he got with his daddy, so what he did in that type of moment is he peed on himself. He wet the bed, and we know that that's a mechanism, that there's something internally going on with the child at that time. And then Mecca starts laughing. He said, "Oh Lord," he said, "Yeah, because when I pee on myself or something like that, that means I done got in trouble, and here it comes." And so he laughed about it. You could tell he's kind of embarrassed about it. He said, "I would pee on myself until the age of 13." And then Belle was like, "Oh really?" And then Mecca was like, "How do you think I felt as a teenager waking up with soiled sheets?" And mm, that's so sad. And then Belle was like, "Yeah, that's horrible." And then Mecca was like, "Well, I don't think I ever told anyone that before." So he is feeling comfortable to share that type of stuff with um, Belle Jolie, but by sharing that type of stuff and not so-called good moments, because she said, "Tell me about a good moment," and this is what you shared. He do need a therapist. He do need a therapist very badly so that he can share those moments and learn how to cope with those moments and how to transform those moments into to to improve his life, to better his life versus to feel sad about his life. He's not wrong for talking about it because again, that's he got to let those emotions out some kind of way. But by sharing it with Bella Jolie, he is trauma bonding with her. And I don't want them to build a relationship of trauma because it's never going to be solid. It's always going to be a negative type of thing. And I don't never see a relationship that trauma bonded lasts for 30, 40 years unless you're just sitting there fighting and arguing all the time for 30, 40 years. And that's not good. And then he was like, "Well, I don't think I ever told anybody about that." And then so, of course, Bella Jolie is picking up his emotions, and so she tried to flip it up a little bit. She said, "I can definitely chime in on those type of secrets." Again, there's now she's showing her or sharing her trauma. And again, not a good thing to do. It is a good thing to open up and feel comfortable and safe with your partner, but you don't want a trauma bond. And she said, as a kid, we was beyond poor. And then Mecca was like, you said beyond poor? And she was like, yeah, beyond. And then Mecca was like, what does that mean? You do know what that means, Mecca. Come on now. Stop being annoying. You know what beyond poor means. That means you were poorer than poor. That means you were poorer than the poorest person in the neighborhood. That means you money was nowhere around. Okay. Things of value was nowhere around. Okay. Having the basic necessities was nowhere around. We know what that means. Come on, Mecca, try to be more understanding. But again, he's not too much in touch with his self, so he probably wasn't able to connect with what she was saying. But either way, and he know what poor is. Or was your daddy not poor the reason why he didn't buy you a smartphone, or was he just being mean? Which one was it, Mecca? You understand, okay? You didn't get a smartphone until your senior year, and I'm sure at that point, all your friends had smartphones and had other things. You didn't, and you probably didn't get that smartphone until you start working yourself, until you got your first job. So you understand what beyond poor is, okay? The lack of having. You understand that. But he beyond poor, what does that mean? And then so she went into it and she was like, well, we had no lights, we had no water, we had to take baths with buckets. We lived in a one bedroom with all her siblings. She had five siblings and her mother. They all had to live in one bedroom. And she said, I refuse to go into details. Okay, well, you don't have to go into details. I know the details. Okay. What she's saying is her mom couldn't pay the power bill. So they went without electricity. When you don't have electricity, then you're not even able to heat up water to take a bath. Okay. Because she also said they didn't have no water. So where do you get the buckets to take the baths from? Did you borrow it from neighbors? Because sometimes, if you were poor enough and you had a neighbor, um, and they all understood each other. You had community. You could borrow buckets, but where did you get the bucket of water from? So when I heard it, I thought that maybe they was boiling water and stuff like that. But if you don't got no electricity, you can't boil water. So you taking cold baths and just buckets of water. And even though it's buckets of water, by the time you put it in the bathtub, it's only probably a couple of inches of water, if that. It's probably not even 1 inch of water that you're bathing in, and you have to share that with your brothers and sisters. That means you bathing in other people dirt and stuff like that. So you can just imagine. So if they don't got water to bathe with, they probably didn't have enough water to clean the tubs with. So they probably was taking baths in dirty tubs and stuff like that. So she said she refused to go into details, but I went into details for you. She said, but what I will say is that I had toothpaste as a meal before. Wow. Now that's beyond poor for real. Because, when you are only thing you have is toothpaste and you ate that. Oh, I heard that people did do that. That's not something that, I ever experienced, but I have heard people say that they've had to eat toothpaste before, and that's not good for you because I don't even think you're supposed to swallow toothpaste. But she said it's been days that my mom would not eat nothing, and Mama probably didn't eat nothing because Mama was depressed. Mama was stressed. Mama probably was going through so much. If the kids are picking up what the mama's putting down, but the mom probably didn't have, of course she didn't have food to eat. But at the same time, when you living in that type of environment, you just don't have the desire to eat. You so stressed, your body is trying its best to survive, and it can survive off little to nothing. And she also said that her mom was trying to work and had five kids, which means it probably was times that the kids had to stay in that one bedroom with nothing to eat, no water, no nothing, and have to stay in that one bedroom by themselves, which means they couldn't open the door, they couldn't go ask for help, they couldn't do anything because the mom had to work. And she said they had no help, but they always celebrated birthdays, which means, they may not, every day was probably, not probably, was a struggle, but they made sure that whenever birthdays came around that they celebrated. Okay. And that means a lot to her. And then Mecca was like, well, we have some really in-depth conversations. This is what Mecca is saying to, when he's having a one-on-one with the cameras. He said, we have so many really in-depth conversations with each other. We know we do care very deeply for each other. The aspects of us loving each other exist. So he pretty much he said that they love each other, even though when it comes to him saying it in front of other people, he embarrassed the girl. He act like he don't want to say it. He act like he don't understand what love is, and it's just like, you understand what it is. You know what it is. You know you want it. But yet you act like you, oh, I've never been in love. Yes, you have. You've been in love. You just been rejected, and so you don't want to admit to it. So when he was by himself talking to the camera, he said that we have aspects of loving each other that exists. He said that Bella's birthday is a pivotal time of the year, and he planned to step up to the plate and show her something for sure. He said that he making sure that he's gonna step up to the plate for her and show up and show out for her. And I think that that was really good. Okay, so Mecca was laughing as usual while talking about a guy. No, no, back to old Michelle, honey. Let's go back over here to Michelle and Cameron. So they flashed back to them real fast. They was laughing, talking about their previous dating histories and things like that. And she was laughing because she said she went on a date with somebody, and the guy started peeling off his skin during the date. Like, ew, disgusting. Like, girl, I would have walked up out of there so fast. And so she was laughing. And then Cameron said, well, one time he dated a girl who was on acid and who started to trip out and started to cry during the date. And then so Michelle was like, oh yeah, that it's hard out here in these streets. So they pretty much, it's like, so that just let me know Michelle was desperate, honey. She was just going out with anybody. He had to, some dude out there peeling out his skin, ain't telling what type of condition he had. She was out there desperately dating, and Cameron was out there going for the bad girls. Okay, somebody who was on the acid, baby. So he was going out there for the bad girls. She was going out there for the sick boys, honey. Just desperate for a relationship. So then we go over to Felipe and Tori. Now they're FaceTiming at this point. Felipe is not home yet, so Tori is FaceTiming with her sister while she's cooking and pet sitting for Felipe's mama. Now, Tori started off by telling her sister, she told her sister that at the group dinner, Felipe admitted that he wanted to live a single life. And the sister looked so confused and so shocked at this. She was like, I can't believe this, what's going on. Just very disappointed. And then Tori was like, said that that was the first time she had even heard that. He hadn't even never told her that before, but he again wait to get in front of everybody at the group dinner with all the couples, and then he comes out and then blurts out that he wants to live a single life. And she said, I'm not the one who signed up for this. I didn't sign you up. She was like, you signed yourself up, Felipe. So for you to sign yourself up for married at first sight, knowing that you're going to be married, knowing that you're going to be in a couple, knowing that the single life is over at that time, you signed up for this. So how dare you sign up for this and then act like it's such a weird concept that you're in a relationship? So she just think that it's super weird that he would even make a comment like that in front of everybody. Now he claims to like me. That's what she said, but he wants to sleep with other women, which seems so immature. She said that he's so immature when it comes to his emotions. She's trying to normalize this in some type of way, like most women would try to do. She was like, you know, he claims that he like me when we're together, but then when he gets in front of other people, he claims that he wants to be, with other women. And I don't like the fact how she tried to normalize that to her sister. And then Tori said, I don't have time for build a boy. Okay, she said she's not gonna build a bear, she's not gonna build a boy. She said, this is the big leagues now, baby. You are married. We are married. You are in this or you are out. Make a decision. She is not having this wishy-washy type of stuff from him. Like, who do he think he is? And then the sister was like, he gave a speech about a good job, about having a good job at the wedding, about having his life together. But her instinct said that that's all a lie. And it was, because even I said it, he didn't say to Tori at the wedding that what he was going to offer in this relationship. He said what he offered is a family. He offers a good job. He said he offers good friends. But what about you, Felipe? Are you offering commitment? Are you offering loyalty? Are you offering love? Stability? What are you offering? He did not even admit to offering anything. So the sister kind of caught on to that like I did. I'm like, yeah, if you're not telling me about what you got to offer, then that's a problem. And then Tori was like, he is so close with his mother, but like a baby. His mom shops for him. She decorates his whole apartment with his sister. But Felipe has done nothing on his own. She said, this right here is a red flag on the field. She said, this is red flag for me. She said, another thing he does, he sleeps until 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. which can be understandable because Felipe don't come home until late at night, if not early in the morning. 'Cause he claimed he got to close up the restaurant, so of course he's not going to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Tori needs to kind of understand that now, even with. But Felipe used to come home around 4 o'clock in the morning because he's out partying after he leaves the restaurant. But I think now he probably is coming home because she didn't say anything about him not coming home. So when he closed up the restaurant and he comes home and when you get off work, you're not probably going to go jump straight into the bed. You probably going to hang out a little bit at home and then you go to sleep. So I understand him waking up at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. in the morning. But she don't like that because she's already up. She's up around 5 or 6 o'clock because she got to be at work. And then so she can't. She said that she don't even think that she can trust him to babysit her dog. She feel like if she needed him to take the dog to the vet or to feed the dog or anything like that, he would not be responsible enough to do it. And then she said the only thing he does is goes to the gym and back to work. And then sister was like, well, send him back to his mama. Maybe pack him up and send him back to his mammy. And then so she started to smile and laugh and stuff like that. Sister being truthful. Yeah, since mama do everything for him and he can't do anything on his own, send him back. Send him back to the house, okay? Or leave his house or whatever it is. Let him go back to mama. And then Tori comes in. Well, his mom is so amazing. So pretty much there's nothing against the mom. She's amazing, including the whole family. The whole family is amazing. I think he works really hard. And so here she go now. Listen to what she's. I think he works really hard. I just haven't seen enough of it, of things that he has done on his own. And so what I just seen Tori do when the sister was like, send him back to his mama. And then so she came back in after she done told the sister everything that she having a problem with. When the sister agrees with her and gives her a solution, send him back. And then she gonna come to defend the situation. Oh no, his mom is amazing. I'm not sending the mom back. His family is amazing. I'm not sending them back. And then I think he works really hard. Therefore, I'm not sending him back. She's just saying, I just haven't seen enough. It's not enough to send him back to his mammy, but it's enough for me to notice and tell you and get you stressed out about it. But then when you stress out about it and give me a resolution, and then if you give me the resolution that I don't like, then I'm going to defend my man. So that's what Tori did in this situation. And then so she went on to say that he works at a family restaurant. As a matter of fact, he got his first job from his dad. So she's saying that Felipe haven't even worked hard to get his own career. Everything was given to him. If the mama ain't giving him everything, then here comes the daddy giving him jobs and opportunities. Even his first job was given from his dad. She noticing a lot of orange flags. So now she's going from saying red flags on the plate to now they're orange, which means uh, in other words, she's trying to say, I'm giving you all the red flags. I see all the red flags, but because I don't want my sister to dislike him, and so now I'm gonna call them orange flags. So which means I'm lightening up on him a little bit, even though she still see that they are all clear red flags. So what she's doing is setting herself up to accept his bad behavior, to accept his lack of giving, his lack of doing anything, and she accepting it. So what she pretty much saying is, well, what the mama is not doing or is doing, I'm going to step up and do, whether she know it or not. That's what she's saying. And so he's not sure about marriage in general. That's what she said. It has anything to do with me. It's just like in general, he's not sure in marriage. It's like, girl, stop. And then she goes on to say, I don't think he understands what this marriage is about. He does understand, girl. He's seen marriage with his mom and dad. He know what it's about. He's saying he don't want to just be stuck just like his dad, just sleeping with one woman. He said he's out there. He want to sow his royal oats, and he want to sleep with other women. It's simple. That's what he's saying to you. Everything is about sleeping with other women. And then her sister was like, well, I don't like this. This is gross behavior. And then Tori comes back and says, um, and then instead of, her accepting what the sister said, she was like, have you ever liked any guys I dated? It's like, girl, I, your sister is being very mature. She is telling you that, yeah, this behavior is gross. I don't like this for you. And she's still defending Felipe, even though she the one dogging Felipe to the sister. And then when the sister agreed with her, she flips it back. She was like, have you liked anybody? And then the sister started laughing like, yeah, no, no, I haven't liked anybody. So they both started laughing about it. Because Tori probably is known to be with toxic men, men who do not accept her, men who would run away from her, because that was something that she was scared of the whole time. She was scared that she was going to go and meet a man at her on her wedding day that was going to run from her. And so she said, after then Tori says, after being love bombed and him saying that he's trying hard not to love bomb, like, is this emotional manipulation at work? Yes, it is. She like, the whole thing is reeking of emotional immaturity, and I generally hope that I'm wrong about all of it. You're not, girl. You speaking your truth. You speaking your experience. So it's not, you're not wrong, and you are 100% right. He said, we are 3 weeks away from decision day. She said that if she was asked if she would stay married at this session, she would say no. She couldn't see herself with someone that's indecisive. I do think that there is potential, but I don't want to ignore all those flags. So now she went from calling red flags orange flags to now they just flags, flags of no color. But she said that she don't like his incisiveness, his immaturity, but she do see potential. One thing you never want to do is marry a man, date a man, be with a man or woman because of their potential, which means you don't see anything that's solid. You just see a ghost of what they can be. Okay. And a ghost is nobody you want to date. You want to see what he actually truly offers. And what she's seeing is that he's very immature. He's very stunted. He's a mama's boy. He doesn't do anything on his own. So if he can't do anything on his own, what can he do with her? She also see that he doesn't is not committed to being faithful in this relationship. He is struggling with that. So she see all the red flags, and but she said that she don't want to ignore them, even though she is ignoring them. Okay. So the sister gonna come back and say, she was like, well, since I can't beat you, I'm gonna join you. She said, do you think that you could somehow answer yes to you know, staying in this marriage? And then Tori thought she said, oh, switching husband. Like Tori down to switch husbands, baby. She can trade Felipe in for another husband. She was down for it. And then for the sister to say, um, do you think that you could say yes? Like, girl, did you not hear her? And the sister, like, yeah, I did hear her, but did you hear me give her pointers? And she shot me down and she defended Felipe. So the sisters don't want that type of, discourse in their relationship. So she was like, well, girl, go ahead and say yes, okay? Because clearly you're not listening to me, you're not listening to my advice, and you're not willing to take it or hear, you're not even hearing yourself. I should. And they on FaceTime. It's just like replay the FaceTime for her later on. It's like, girl, you called the relationship, you saw the flags, you threw the flags on the plate, and you just ignoring them, and you talking about his potential, the ghost of him. And it's like, girl, that's not gonna work at all. Okay, so so now we're gonna have to continue this on part three, girl, because like I said, this is a long, long episode, and I don't want to do hour videos because baby, y'all barely watching the 30 minutes, okay? But I understand because I'm rebranding my channel, and so it's gonna take a lot for YouTube to know who to show my videos to, and it's going to take a lot for the people to find what I'm doing now. So I'm okay with the rebrand and the things like that, but I'm just still going to put my heart and soul into these videos until, baby, it reaches the right audience. So stay tuned for three, baby, where we're going to get to the juice of what happened on episode 13. So catch you on the next one. Bye.